Hello, it's Mrs. Knapp again, and I'm going to have a go at doing the mark making challenge which I set for year 7 and year 8 in the last summer term. And I'm starting off with my A4 piece of cartridge paper, and I'm just folding it in half 3 times. So this is the second time that you can see here, and one last time, each time in half, and this helps you to get 8 even sized boxes on your sheet of paper, which I'm just going to open out now to show you. Now, if you wanted to, you could draw some lines along the folds and creases, or not bother, which I didn't bother with. And I'm going to start with just some black and white acrylic paint and filling up my first box. So what I'm going to try to do is create marks and textures and different kinds of lines and patterns in every single box, and try and do something a little bit different in every box. So I'm just using a bunch of cotton buds here as my tool, or my paintbrush if you like. I'm starting off with black, and then I'm adding some white on top, and you can see the black and white have mixed together to make a grey tone here. For my next box, I'm going to use a strip of cardboard. It's quite thin card that I've cut off from some packaging, and I'm starting off with just some random lines and marks, just using the card dipped in a black acrylic paint and stamping it across my box there. But I decided to make a kind of flower shape, because going in this curved motion reminded me of a kind of dandelion floral petal type shape. So I'm going to continue with that theme there. So you can see that I've built up the layers, continuing to dip my card into the black acrylic paint, and now I'm adding some white as well, so I get a bit of a different mark and tone and texture. Now in my next box, I'm using this bit of a reed or a bit of a leaf plant, and I'm dipping it in the black paint. I've curved it, and I'm kind of making more flower shapes here. The curve on the reed is a bit like a petal. I've dipped it in black paint, and now I'm adding some white, but you can see I'm not very happy with it, don't really like it, so I'm just going to change my mind about that and create an all over black background. And I'm using the end of a paintbrush to make some marks in my paint there. On the next one, I've got my soy sauce bottle, which of course I have washed out and cleaned, and I'm dipping it into the black acrylic paint, and I'm making these stamps and these prints all across my page. And actually I've decided that this might help improve my previous box, so I'm going all over with that as well. So I've almost finished my top row of boxes there, focusing on black and white, but on the bottom row I'm going to start introducing some colour, and I've mixed a green with some blue and yellow acrylic there, and I'm using a sponge to create this really nice textured colour and effect on my next box, introducing some yellow, so I'm using harmonising colours here. continuing to build up the layers and get lots of texture in there. Now for my next one, I'm going to use the lid from some chili powder. I've washed it and cleaned it, and I quite like the little circles that I've got inside the lid. So this is what I'm going to use to stamp with, and I'm continuing using my greens and blues that I've mixed from my last box and printing all over that box. Adding some yellow there as well. And I'm really filling it up. And my next one, going back to using a strip of card, and I really liked the kind of dandelion floral shape that I created in black and white, so I'm going to do another one with my blues and greens here. So you can see that I've separated the colours slightly, so I've got blue on one part of the card and then green on the other part, and I've added some white as well, so I'm varying the tones and hues and shades of my green, blue and yellow colours here. So now I'm going to use a cotton bud, a new one there, and I've dipped it in some white, so I'm creating a centre for my flower there, and I'm going to add a little bit of colour, a bit of a reddish colour on my black and white versions as well. Now on my last box there, I've got some orange netting from some onions that I bought, and I'm going to use this as my painting tool. And I'm going to go for more warm colours now, so I've mixed an orange colour by mixing red and yellow, and I'm just painting some of it on to my netting there and stamping it all over my last box there. So now you can see I'm going back to my lid stamping there. So I'm going over some of my other boxes to try and improve and add to them and see what other interesting marks I can make. So now I've got a part of a reed leaf plant. I've dipped in red paint and I'm just adding a bit more interest and detail and texture. With a cotton bud there, I'm adding some white lines and marks to my sponged box there. So I've added some yellow as well, but I'm not really sure about it. So I'm actually going back over it again with a sponge, adding more textures. So I'm building more layers here. So don't worry if you're doing an exercise like this and you create some marks and textures and lines that you don't like, then that's fine. Part of the point of doing this exercise is that you're exploring and you're seeing what's working well and what doesn't work well. Now here you can see some close-ups of my final boxes here, and you can see the paint's dried and I've got some nice bumpy textural effects, lots of different kinds of marks there as well, and these are all the tools that I use too. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy mark making!